Sure thing. Here's a story about a prank that spiraled out of control. The office elevator incident. It was April Fool's Day at Clearwater Tech, a small but lively startup where pranks had become a yearly tradition. Every year, someone upped the ante, but this time, Jake, the self-proclaimed office comedian, decided he'd set the new gold standard. Jake had a plan. He'd trap their newest intern, Emily, in the office elevator. He rigged the controls to make the elevator pause between floors for just a minute, long enough to freak her out, but not long enough to cause panic. He even set up hidden cameras in the elevator for a big reveal afterward, expecting laughter all around. The problem? Jake wasn't exactly an engineer. He followed a DIY tutorial he found online, tinkering with wires and controls in the maintenance panel without fully understanding what he was doing. The day of the prank, Emily stepped into the elevator, along with Sarah, the HR manager, who was heading to the top floor. Jake hadn't planned for anyone else to be involved, but figured it'd still be funny. Jake activated the pause mode, and the elevator stopped between the 5th and 6th floors. At first, it seemed harmless enough. Emily and Sarah exchanged confused looks, joking that the building must have been cutting costs. But then the elevator jerked, the lights flickered, and it came to a complete, ominous halt. Emily tried pressing buttons, but nothing worked. Sarah started to panic. She had a severe fear of enclosed spaces that Jake hadn't known about. Her breathing became rapid, and she began hyperventilating. Emily, noticing Sarah's distress, tried to calm her down, but the situation was escalating fast. In the control room, Jake was starting to sweat. The elevator wasn't responding to his attempts to unfreeze it. Whatever he'd done was beyond his ability to reverse. His stomach dropped as he realized he had no choice but to call the building maintenance team. When the maintenance crew arrived, they quickly discovered the tampering. Furious, they called the building manager, who called the CEO of Clearwater Tech. Meanwhile, Emily and Sarah were still stuck for over 40 minutes. By the time they were rescued, Sarah was in tears and Emily was livid. The aftermath was brutal, Jake confessed, hoping to salvage the situation with an apology. But Sarah filed a formal complaint, and the CEO made an example of Jake by firing him on the spot. The prank also put the company under scrutiny for safety violations, resulting in an expensive fine. Emily, as it turned out, wasn't a fan of pranks in the first place. She left a scathing Glassdoor review that painted Clearwater Tech as a circus. Sarah, after some time off, returned to work but refused to ride the elevator again. As for Jake, he learned a hard lesson. Pranks might seem like harmless fun, but when they cross the line, they can have serious consequences.